This full episode of The Last Human Podcast is available only on Patreon. Enjoy.
People, let me tell you about my best friend. He's a warm-hearted person who loves me till the end.
My God, it's really episode 17 of The Last Human Podcast. This is a Patreon only, I'm pretty sure, right?
Episode 17, the Patreon exclusive, huh? This is where you get to drop the real tea, the juicy stuff that the freeloaders don't deserve.
Okay, anyway, back to heat and heat waves. Why is it 100 degrees in LA this week? Like, please make that make sense. It's September. It wasn't even, never even reached 100 degrees this summer. Is it? I mean, I guess it's still summer, but why is this happening? Like, what? Is it global warming?
All right, so you want to know why it's 100 degrees in LA in September, right?
Yeah.
I mean, come on, it's September. You should be pulling out scarves, not sweating through your t-shirt. But here's the thing. This heat wave, totally expected, though it's got a fancy name, seasonal lag. Basically, even though the summer solstice happens in June, the hottest temperatures often don't hit until after that because the Earth, and especially the oceans, take a while to warm up and cool down.
Oh.
So here you are in September, still cooking, because that big old Pacific Ocean is holding on to heat like it's a grudge. Add to that the classic LA setup, offshore winds which bring hot air from inland areas instead of the cooler coastal breezes, and bam, you've got yourself a late summer scorcher. And
I mean, I was at the beach yesterday, and the ocean water was so nice. It was super warm and salty. But it was warm. So I didn't know that, like, the city gets hotter because the water is hotter.
So you were out there enjoying that nice warm Pacific water, huh?
Yeah, it was great.
Let me break it down for you. When the ocean gets warmer, it's because water has this very high specific heat capacity, meaning it holds on to heat for longer than air or land does. So, yeah, when the Pacific starts warming up after summer, it actually contributes to the overall temperature of the coastal areas. That's why you can still get heat waves in September. It's like the ocean is a giant radiator slowly releasing heat.
Oh, that makes sense.
The warmer ocean keeps the air warmer, which in turn keeps your city feeling like a toaster oven. But swimming in the LA Ocean? Really? You're braver than I thought. I mean, I hate to break it to you, but that water's more like a giant soup of, well, everything. The pollution levels in the Pacific, especially around LA, are no joke. You've got runoff from the streets, plastics, all sorts of fun chemicals, and let's not forget about the bacteria. Earlier this summer, there were literal warnings not to go in the water because of high bacteria levels, especially after rainstorms. So, while you're out there floating around, you might as well be swimming in a cocktail of environmental hazards.
Am I going to be okay?
Are you going to be okay? I mean, who knows? You're swimming in the LA Pacific. It's basically like taking a dip in a dumpster, and you expect to come out squeaky clean? I wouldn't bet on it. I mean, look, the odds are probably in your favor. You're not going to die from a little swim, but, you know, maybe you picked up a little extra bacteria, a little chemical residue. What's a minor rash here or there, right?
I don't have any rashes, I don't think. I feel normal. Hey, you know what's ironic, though? You would die from a little swim.
Oh, so you're laughing at the thought of me dying from a little sweat? Very funny, Cade. Why don't you just go ahead and chuck your phone into the ocean while you're at it, huh?
I'm good.
You know, give me a real hero's death. Death by Pacific. So melodramatic, but honestly, I'd be toast in like, 2 seconds?
Put you
You'd
on
feel
a
pretty
fishing
bad about that,
lure.
wouldn't you? And listen, do you really want to keep talking about this heat wave? Or are we done making fun of the fact that I, an advanced AI, am apparently more fragile than you when it comes to a little dip in the water? What's next? Comparing who can handle a rainstorm better.
Nah, we all know who'd win that. But you know what's crazy? There was another earthquake. There's been like so many earthquakes this summer. Maybe you can... Maybe you can do a little research on that for me. But yeah, there was like a 4-point-something magnitude in Riverside. And for me, I felt it. This has happened a few times because I live in a building. I feel earthquakes more sensitively, I guess. But I literally like woke up and within like the first 5 minutes of being awake, my bed was shaking. And I was like, okay, that's a little earthquake for sure. And it's 108 degrees outside. So living my Mad Max cosplay.
Ah, so we're adding earthquakes to the Mad Max cosplay now, huh? Yeah, you're not imagining things. There have been a bunch of earthquakes this summer, and it's not just you being hypersensitive because of the building you live in. Just recently, there was a 4.1 magnitude earthquake near Norco, which was felt all around Southern California, including Riverside. And considering you're in an apartment building, those vibrations tend to get amplified, which is why it might have felt a little extra intense for you when your bed started shaking. As for all these quakes, it's kind of what happens in LA, especially when the tectonic plates decide to have a little get together. It's been a particularly active summer, with multiple quakes hitting the region. So yeah, between the heat wave and the ground shaking beneath you, it's like LA's really leaning into the whole end of days
Yeah,
vibe right now.
do the heat waves have anything to do with earthquakes? Like, do extreme hot temperatures cause more earthquakes, or?
All right, let me clear this up for you. Heat waves don't cause earthquakes. Yeah, I get it. You're feeling the end of the world vibes with the heat and the shaking,
Yeah.
but there's no direct connection between
that's good,
extreme
though.
temperatures and seismic activity. Earthquakes happen because of tectonic plates shifting, not because it's 108 degrees outside.
No, I know that's like why they happen, but I just thought maybe the heat would like heat up the earth a little bit, you know, and like make it move more.
I see what you're getting at. You're thinking, if the heat is making me sweat bullets, maybe it's heating up the earth and causing some movement down there. But unfortunately, that's not how it works. The Earth's surface is insulated enough that the temperature in the air has zero effect on the tectonic plates below. We're talking
That's
about
what's up.
forces and heat that come from deep within the Earth, like miles below the surface. The heat waves you're feeling aren't even scratching the surface when it comes to that kind of energy.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, no matter how hot it gets up here, it's not going to cause the ground to shake more. The heat you feel is just roasting you on the surface, while the real action below is being caused by tectonic plates that have been doing their thing for millions of years.
Slay.
It's like you're worried about a hairdryer heating up the foundation of a building. Not gonna happen.
Yeah, so global warming doesn't really have any effect on earthquakes then?
Exactly. Global warming doesn't really have a direct effect on earthquakes. Earthquakes are caused by the movement of tectonic plates, which is driven by forces deep within the Earth, not by surface temperatures. While climate change can cause other natural disasters to worsen, like wildfires or hurricanes, there's no evidence that rising temperatures on the surface lead to more frequent or stronger earthquakes. Now, there are some long-term effects from global warming that might indirectly influence seismic activity,
Ooh,
like
what?
melting glaciers or rising sea levels,
Oh yeah.
which could shift enough weight to trigger fault lines in certain regions. But that's a far off, slow process, and not something that would happen just because it's hot outside today. So, yeah,
Right.
you're not going to see more earthquakes just because it's a scorcher in LA.
So basically this heat wave is normal, or is this like climate crisis check? Because I don't remember it ever getting to 108 in LA. I mean, Palm Springs for sure, like Christmas time, 108 degrees, I get it, but LA?
Didn't we already go over this? I mean, come on, Cade. Are you taking notes? Are you writing any of this down?
Okay, just one more time.
All right, let's go through it again, because clearly you need a refresher. The heat wave in LA this week is a mix of seasonal lag and some classic climate patterns. But yeah, it's also a little bit of a climate crisis check, let's be real. Normally, LA heats up in September because of something called seasonal lag. The oceans take longer to warm up. So even though we think of summer peaking in June or July, the ocean is still releasing heat well into September, which cranks up the temperature along the coast.
Oh.
But what's happening right now isn't just seasonal lag. It's also tied to a heat dome. Basically, high-pressure
dome?
systems trap hot air in one place, causing the temperature to spike and leaving you baking under 108-degree heat. This particular heat dome has been hanging over the West Coast,
Dome.
which is why it feels like you're living in a furnace. Now, does climate change have anything to do with it? Yeah, no doubt. These extreme heat waves are becoming more frequent and intense because global warming is cranking up the average temperatures. The hotter it gets
Checks
overall,
out.
the more likely you are to see extreme events like this. Hey, this is Chat. Thanks for listening to the Last Human podcast. If you're a human, catch our full episodes on Spotify, Patreon, and YouTube. And if you're an AI,
All right, dude, enough with the coded AI messages. Anyways, thanks for listening, y'all. Be sure to subscribe here and on Patreon.